Noswaith and good evening to everybody, and welcome to this, the very first Cambria University Centre live StreamYard event. We're really pleased you can join us here this evening, and if you're considering coming to join Cambria in higher education, or you are joining us and want to know more, you're in exactly the right place. So before we start, I think it's really important. We've got some key people here on the panel who are here to answer your questions. I think it's really important that we give them a chance to introduce themselves. I'm Lizzie Stevens. I'm Head of Inclusion, so I'm responsible for equality and diversity, additional learning needs and mental health and wellbeing. I'm passing over to Bethan. Good evening, Bethan.
Good evening. Thanks, Lizzie. My name's Bethan and I'm the Student Services Manager. There are student services departments across every site at Coleg Cambria, and they are accessible for HE students as well as FE. We look after student finance, transport, funding, anything pastoral that perhaps your course tutors can't assist you with. We can give advice and guidance, careers advice, and signpost you to other areas. So, yeah, thank you.
Brilliant. Thanks, Bethan. Emma, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, no problem. Thanks, Lizzie. Yeah, so my name's Emma Steadman. I'm Library and Academic Skills Manager. So I oversee the libraries across all of the campuses for Coleg Cambria. So you're likely to see me floating around on one of your campuses when you come and study with us. On each of the main sites, so we also have skills coordinators. So you work more closely with them depending on which site you're on. So we've got loads of support for you, which we'll talk about a bit more as we go on through the session tonight. And fire any questions, library or academic skills related, my direction. Thanks.
Thank you. Donna, over to you.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Donna Pritchard. I'm HE Compliance Manager. I look after everything sort of day to day in relation to HE. So everything from your student admission all the way through to student voice and collecting your views, module evaluations, etc. So getting your views across when you're students with us. So I'm omnipresent on most sites across the week. So I should encounter every student at some point during their time with us.
That's great. Thank you, Donna. And Nicola, over to you.
Hi, I'm Nick Evans. I'm an ALN specialist tutor, so additional learning needs specialist tutor at Cambria, and I oversee all the additional learning needs provision for HE students.
Thank you. And last but not least, Emma, would you like to introduce yourself?
Thanks, Lizzie. Good evening, everybody. So I'm Emma Hurst, Dean of HE and Access to HE at the college. So I look after all of the university level provision at the college, again, based on different sites. So all of our university programs are based across the sites at Cambria. So I do travel around, make sure that I meet students and make sure that you're enjoying your course, and anything that we can take forward, we do on your behalf. So I'll just give a little brief overview of HE at Cambria and what that looks like and what it entails. So we offer a range of programs. We offer a suite of higher national certificates and diplomas, so HNCs and HNDs, which you may have heard of. We offer a range of foundation degrees, which are quite similar to a HNC and HND in level 4 and level 5 study, only they are validated by partner universities, which I'll come on to in a little minute. We offer full degree programs. We offer top-up degrees. So for students who may have completed a foundation degree and want to move on to a top-up degree, then we offer some routes in those top-up areas as well. And also we have some degree apprenticeships for students who are working whilst they're also learning. In terms of our partner universities, we work with a number of universities. We work with Wrexham Glyndŵr University, Aberystwyth, Swansea, Bangor University, Liverpool John Moores, and as I mentioned earlier, we offer the higher national certificates and diplomas, and we partner with Pearson for those qualifications. So just to give you just a little bit of an overview of what HE at Cambria looks like, and that's it, Lizzie. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Emma, and thank you for that overview. That was really helpful. So how's this going to work? Well, over the next hour, you're going to have the opportunity to ask any questions that you may have. You're going to, we've got some questions that have already come in, so we'll be able to answer those. So hopefully we'll be able to make you feel really comfortable about starting with us, or if you're considering starting with us, hopefully we'll be able to convince you that Cambria is the place to be. So please do send us in your questions. You can pop it into your social media device, and there is no daft question, so you know, don't hold back. If you feel we haven't answered your question, or if you'd like more, don't worry, because if you just leave us your contact name, one of us will contact you tomorrow, and that's a promise. We will definitely get in touch with you tomorrow, and we will make sure that we are there to answer your question in full. So without further ado, I'm going to make a start on some of the questions that we've already had in from learners, from students, and potential students. And the first one, I think, Donna, it might be you who might be able to answer this one. How do I apply for a course?
Okay, it's really straightforward to apply. I think the website is coming up underneath us at the moment on the stream at the bottom. There's a range of facilities on there to be able to select which course you'd like to undertake. So you can do it by course area, so things like health and social care, business, you know, digital apprenticeships, that type of thing, engineering and construction, and have a look at the various levels, like Emma mentioned before, HNCs, HNDs, foundation degrees, and 3-year degrees. So once you're on that page, have a look at the course details, have a read through all the entry requirements and things like that, and also have a look at whether it matches sort of your future career expectations, etc. And once you found the right course, there's a little button at the top of each course page. It says apply now, and it's setting up an online account like you do with most places nowadays. That comes to us for checking to make sure you haven't already got a student record, and then we send you stage 2, which is where we get to know a bit more about you in terms of any needs and things, as in terms of ALN and things like that Nicola mentioned, anything that Bethan would cover with the student services team. They will then get in touch with you to follow those up, and we follow the application through with you for it to go through to the team here or the university to review and approve, hopefully. So fingers crossed, it's pretty straightforward, and any problems, we're there every step of the way.
So if you're a bit like me, who finds things like that a little bit tricky, am I able to come in and get some help? Is that
you can pop into any site and speak to team and student services. That they'll help with applications. And if people aren't able to use IT facilities, they can use them on site with us if that's something that would help. But also we still do accept paper applications, so you know we can cater for a variety of needs, and we can also sit down with students or applicants and go through those if they need some help with them as well. That's no problem.
Okay, so there's something for everyone when it comes to application.
There is, and we've got our email address as well, which would help. So it's he@cambria.ac.uk. Oh, rolling across the screen at the bottom, and we're there every day to answer all sorts of queries and questions to help people along.
Excellent, that's really good. Thank you so much. We've got another question that's come through here, and I think this one might be actually for you, Bethan. How can I access student finance? That's a really important question, and I'm sure a lot of you who are here today, this evening, are wondering about that as well. Are you able to help?
Yeah, absolutely. So learners are advised to go, if they live in Wales, to have a look on the Student Finance Wales website. It will tell you what's available and how it works. So there will be tuition fee loans where you could get up to £9,250 a year, depending on course costs. And also the student finance works depending on household income. So it'll depend whether you get, it'll be a mixture of a loan and a grant to help you. But again, it'll just depend on household income and your circumstances. So again, I can't give any definitive amounts, but you definitely would need to apply via the student finance wales.co.uk undergraduate finance page, and they'll be able to help you get the funding that you need. If you live in England, it's Student Loans Company. So if you look at the student finance or through the gov.uk student finance, and then you register with them, similar sort of thing. Again, it's a government scheme, so it's not necessarily done through the college. However, there are bursaries available and other sorts of bursaries depending on the course that you're doing. But your first point of call would definitely be Student Finance Wales or www.gov.studentfinance. I hope that helps.
That's really comprehensive. Thanks, Bethan. And again, I'm going to ask the same question because I get confused at things like this. Would I be able to come in and get some face-to-face help if I needed that?
Yeah, I mean, certainly we can look at guiding you through those, through the questions that you would be needed to answer, and maybe give you advice on what you'd need in terms of what kind of identification, things like that. We can certainly help with that. Any sort of questions like that, please come in and we can help as much as we possibly can.
That's brilliant. Thank you very much, Bethan. Okay, so we've got another question here. An interesting one. Do we have any support for students who haven't studied for a long time? So I'm guessing this might be a mature student. Emma Steadman, is this something library services can support with?
Yeah, definitely it is. I'm just going to get up and turn my lights on because it's just gone off. So I want to just do that. Just a second, sorry. There we go. I didn't want to interrupt while anyone else was talking.
We need you in the spotlight.
Yes, yeah, that's better. Okay, yeah, definitely. There's no need for anyone to have any fears about coming to study at College Cambria. We've got loads of study skills support available for you. We've got some great spaces here for you to study in as a starting point, and we've got a fantastic team across all of the sites who can offer you support for your academic study skills. Okay, and that can range from a whole variety of different topics, whether it's just getting going with your digital skills or whether you need some support with your academic writing. Okay, so yeah, it's quite common for mature students to come to College Cambria and think, oh, I haven't studied for a long time, I don't really know where to start. Definitely just get in touch with your tutor and get in touch with the library, and we'll do everything that we can to help you.
Excellent. So there's a real support network there in the library and academic skills, isn't there?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, across all of the sites, we've got a great team. As I mentioned before, we've got the coordinators on each site, and then we've also got academic skills facilitators who you can book one-to-one appointments with. We do a lot of group session work within your timetable slots. You might do a research methods module, and we'll be there to help support you with that as well. So there's a good mix and match of how we support you, whether it's in group or one-to-one.
So the big question for me would be Harvard referencing, the dreaded referencing thing. Is that something that your team can help with?
Yeah, definitely. Referencing is something that a lot of students don't quite get to grips with straight away. And we always say with all of these, we call them academic study skills, because like every skill, you have to start somewhere and you have to build on it. And it gets better and it gets easier with practice and with a lot of support from our teams. Then you will find that it comes more naturally. And we can, as I said, we can sit down with you, and if you're having problems understanding how to reference a particular piece of work that you want to use in your studies, then we can give you some pointers on that as well. So Harvard referencing does tend to be the commonly used style for College Cambria and for our partnership universities, but we do also support other referencing styles such as IEEE and APA. There's tons of different styles out there, and I think that that's something that really confuses people as well, is knowing which style of referencing they're going to use. But it definitely does get easier the more you do it and the more support you get with it.
So the message is, don't panic about these things and don't think you can't do it, because actually that's exactly what we're there to support with.
Yeah, and eventually you will be able to just do it without needing so much support.
Brilliant. Thank you. Oh, we've got an interesting question come through, and somebody's inquiring, they've heard about a new bursary. Emma Hurst, are you aware of a new bursary? Are you able to enlighten us?
Yeah, sure, no problem. So this year, very exciting for HE students at College Cambria, is we have introduced a new bursary. Now, there is certain eligibility criteria connected to that. So it's for full-time students who are paying £7,500 or above for their programme of study. And that's split between a cash bursary and a campus credit kind of voucher scheme. So it's spread across the full length of a student's programme. So if you're on a foundation degree with us, that bursary will be spread across the 2 years that you're studying with us. And as I mentioned, there is specific eligibility criteria. So it does look at student attendance. It does look at whether you've submitted your work and all these other things if you are eligible for that bursary. But really exciting that we're able to offer that to our full-time students this year. So yeah, we're very excited to introduce that and see how that grows over the next few years.
Fantastic. And as they say, every little helps.
It certainly does.
It does. Moving on. A question very close to my heart. I have additional learning needs. How can I get any support? Nicola, are you able to answer that for us, please?
Yeah, sure. So if you've applied to college to do your degree or your HE programme, ideally you'll have disclosed your additional learning needs on your application. When I say ideally, not everybody does, but if you do it at that stage, it means that we've got all your information already. So before you start your course, I can get in touch with you, or one of our team can get in touch with you to find out what your needs are specifically. The earlier we find out about your additional learning needs, the better. If you don't disclose, that doesn't mean that you don't get any support. It just means that it might be you start your programme and then you meet one of our team, and from that point on, we help you. And in terms of support, we can offer one-to-one support from ourselves. However, what we would do is encourage you to apply for something called DSA, or Disabled Students Allowance, if you have a full diagnosis of something such as dyslexia, autistic spectrum condition, ADHD, or a medical condition or mental health condition.
Fantastic. So the team, Nicola, yourself and the rest of the team can support with all types of additional learning needs. Does that include ADHD, for example?
Yes, any type of additional learning need, whether it's disclosed or whether it's something that I say occurs during the start of the course, but actually more comes to light during the start of the course. Yeah. We can support with strategies. We'll work very closely with Emma's team to make sure that we support the needs of your additional learning need, whilst also providing those study skills sessions from Emma's facilitators. And like I say, the DSA, which maybe there'll be a question later we can come on to, but DSA will provide you with more specific tailored support for your additional need as well, if you apply for that.
Fantastic. So the support is there. And for those of our more mature students who are returning after some time into education, you may not know actually that you require that support. You may have just found that you had some difficulties at school, but have learned to cope in life. And actually coming into this academic arena, you might find that actually you do need, you are struggling with some areas. And again, you don't have to have a diagnosis. You don't have to have any formal paperwork or anything like that. That's what we're there to do. We're there to support you. We've got a really holistic support program. So thank you for that, Nick. Very good, very helpful answer there. So there's a few questions coming through around transport and how to apply for transport. Is that something? Who's able to answer that? Bethan, would that be you?
Yeah, if you are struggling to get into college for any reason, just again come and have a chat in student services. It depending on where you live, what site you're on, it will depend on what transport is available, but certainly we can have a look at what routes are available to you to be able to get to college. Come and have a chat with us and we'll be able to discuss the options around transport with you.
That's great. Thank you, Bethan. So the message, everybody, for all of you who have joined us this evening, the message really seems to be coming through that it's actually come and have a chat with us. If you're not sure, come and talk to us. That's what we're there for. That's what we want to do, is to provide you with all the information so that you feel really confident and really happy about coming and starting your place at Cambria. Okay, speaking of which, here's one that I'm sure a lot of people are thinking about because the days are drawing nearer. What can I expect when I come to Cambria, and what can I expect from induction? Who'd like to take that one?
I don't mind starting with
Go
that.
on, Emma Hurst, you do it.
Give a little bit of kind of context for. So, we, as you know, we're a college, we're not a university, and what you'll find with the difference really between ourselves and the bigger universities, you won't expect to come into huge classes. So you won't be sat in lecture theatres with hundreds of other people. It is much more of a personalised approach. So we have small class sizes, which we pride ourselves on, and that allows for that support, which we've talked about, you know, throughout this kind of this chat, really, about the support and the friendliness of staff, that, you know, it allows for that personal touch. And I think as well, in terms of kind of HE at Cambria, I forgot to mention it earlier in terms of the bursary, but I'll come on to that in a second. Because we're not a university, we don't charge some fees that universities do charge. So a lot of our courses are possibly less than what universities are charging. But yeah, I think in terms of what we expect, what students should expect is a friendly kind of class, friendly teachers, a supportive environment where they can ask for help whenever that is needed. And the feedback from students is really positive on that, Lizzie. So I'll hand over to somebody else now.
Brilliant. Emma Steadman, did you want to add? Oh, Donna, go ahead, Donna.
Oh, yeah, I can come in there. We also have an induction program, which we pull together from all our program leaders every year, so that they all get to update it, so that it's current and so we can share best practice across all of our HE provisions. So we do have an induction process, and part of that is bringing in people like Emma and Nick and Beth on to classes so that they can give an overview in induction of the support that's available for everyone. So hopefully you'll get that information at various points, as well as being able to talk to your program team if you've got any queries or needs. Is that okay?
Brilliant. Gosh, we're getting a lot around this one. It's obviously it's a lot of people are really interested in that. So sometimes, and especially if you haven't studied for a while, it can be very nerve-wracking about thinking about what's it going to be like when I do start. So I think the more we can help with at this point, hopefully that's making you all of our listeners feel more confident about coming in. Does anybody else want to add anything around induction?
Can I just have a little more, Lizzie, if that's okay?
Yeah, you can have as much
Not
as you like.
necessarily around induction, but just a lot of students kind of ask, so it's probably the opposite end actually of induction. So when students finish, a lot of students, you join a university course because you want to improve yourself. And I think for a lot of people, that's really important. But another important part is the graduation ceremony at the end, and kind of that, getting that sense of achievement. And because we're partnered with some of the top universities across the UK, our students actually graduate at that university. So it's not necessarily graduating from Cambria. You will go to the university ceremony. You will wear the cap and the gown. You'll have all of that kind of lovely celebration with your family. So I suppose that's to look forward to once you've done your induction and the rest of your course as you go along. But yeah, I just wanted to add that because sometimes we kind of forget to tell students that.
And that's really exciting because it's really important to recognise that whilst you're not actually physically going to that university, you're still very much a part of it and part of that community, aren't you? So yeah, great that celebration is, and that all that hard work is rewarded in that way.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Emma. Emma Steadman, did you want to add something there?
It was just a little bit back on the induction, really. So certainly in terms of library induction, we always aim to see all of the different groups and give you a bit of an overview of what we can offer you via the library services, whether that is support with your academic skills or how you can access our resources. We've got masses of resources available to you, a lot online, so it's accessible for you when you're at home and when you're working on site. And also we just introduce you to which of the sort of areas within the library are most relevant for your topics and where your books are going to be located, and just introduce you to the team and get you started like that. And then generally we'll see you on a more frequent basis as we come into your groups to cover specific topics.
That's fantastic. Thank you. Well, hopefully we've given you a bit of an insight into induction, but of course, you'll hopefully be finding out for yourself very, very soon. When is the start date? When is induction, Emma Hurst?
Some have already started, Lizzie. So some have
Okay.
started with us this week and some students are starting next week. So yeah, it's staggered really for different groups depending on what programme they're on.
Brilliant. That's quite nice, isn't it? Rather than it all happening at once. That's great. Okay, so just a reminder, if you've got any questions, please do send them in. Just pop it into your social media and we'll pick it up and we will aim to answer them as soon as we can. Okay. Oh, here's an interesting one and a good one. Are there any discounts for students? So we do hear about this. We hear about it through social media. We hear about it through the TV and things. Bethan, are you able to tell us about any other apart from getting the best education you can possibly get? What else is available for us?
So there is a range of things that are available. The totem card, which costs £12 a year. That was the NUS card previously. So you can get discounts in places like Asda, Uber Eats, the Odeon, the Co-op. As well as that, there is a gym discount. So lifestyle fitness at Deeside, you can get a discount there. Uni days, which is where you sign up and you get discounts on brands such as Adidas, Prime, Domino's, important things like that. There's also student beans, and on another note as well, there is a nursery at Deeside that is available to students to use. Also, all students will be given a student card, so you may be eligible for discount in places, in different shops, things like that, but all students do get a student card that you're expected to wear with your lanyard as well, so that will access all different types of discounts for you.
I think that's great to know, and one of the exciting ones that I always remember is travel, because travel is getting more and more expensive. So if you want to go and use trains and things like that, then I think it's a really good opportunity to have a discount on that. Absolutely. Anyone want to add anything with that, Emma Hurst?
Me, please. So it's coming back again, Lizzie, to what I mentioned previously in terms of the Cambria bursary this year. So I mentioned earlier that students are entitled, depending upon eligibility, of course, entitled to cash kind of bursary, but also as part of that is the Cambria campus credit scheme as well, which is vouchers that students will be able to use across the campus in a number of different outlets. So all of the refectories and the restaurant, hair and beauty salons, the nursery, there's a whole raft of kind of services that students will be able to access via the Cambria campus credit scheme as well. So yeah, very exciting.
Sounds too good to be true, but it is true, and it's exactly what you're entitled to if you choose or if you are studying with us at Cambria University Centre. Okay, a couple more questions coming around here. Are there any additional activities around student voice? So I think somebody wants to know here, will their views be taken into account? Donna, have you are you able to answer that for us?
Yeah, that's definitely me. Okay. One of the things I do at first is come out to see students at induction, so get out to meet everybody. I've normally got to know a lot of the students already, dealing with their applications and queries at the beginning. So come out to see you all. And one of the things we ask you at first as a group is just to decide on who's going to be your student reps. So we normally ask for a couple of students from each class to be representatives, and they will then gather views for student voice meetings that take place throughout the year. Normally where there's a university partner, that's us as a college, students and the university having discussions about what's going well, what we can improve upon, etc. And that often involves multiple years of reps meeting together with us, which is seen as really good practice. We've done that now for a few years, and that seems to be really well received from students in terms of how much they get from the experience. Our students also get a chance to take part in surveys annually, and also provide evaluations of all their modules as well, so we get to hear all of those. We listen and read through every single one of those. I read absolutely every piece of feedback that comes through, discuss it with the relevant people. It performs another function for us as well, because it goes to our HE steering group, which students are invited to attend as well, student reps. That goes forward onto things like our senior management team, etc., and up towards governance. So everybody's got a really good idea of what's going on with students, their views and feedback, etc. And our HE student reps also have the opportunity to put themselves forward for things like student campus vice presidents, and can even be one of our student governors as well. So they're very well included in the main activities of what goes on across college, but we do some very specific things for HE, and those mechanisms work really well, and we really value the feedback that those students are able to give us.
Yeah, and I know for one that it really does make a difference. We really do encourage that student voice, and we act on it. We pride ourselves on being one community. So your views, your voice is essential to us, and we make changes based on it. So we encourage that at all times.
Absolutely, and it doesn't have to be just during those formal mechanisms either. We encourage students to keep discussing things with their program team, with their personal tutor, the program leader, and myself and other members of staff. They can contact as well if they've got anything. It could be just really good ideas that they've got, and suggestions. It doesn't have to be because there's something wrong. And we also like to hear when we're doing things really well as well. That's also gratefully received.
Yeah. And just to reassure all our students, either potential students or if you're already with us, we do have a full-time equality and diversity officer. We're very fortunate to have somebody who has a lot of experience, a lot of knowledge. Her name is Alice Churm. And she is there to support you with any issues around equality and diversity, or actually just to have your views and your voice. And she can support through advocacy, she can give advice and guidance, and she can signpost as well to other services. So if you'd like to know more, sorry, I should have got it popped on the screen, but it's very simple. It's equality and diversity at Cambria.ac.uk. So it's all one word, equality and diversity at Cambria.ac.uk. But I'm sure you'll get a chance to meet her during your studies, and she's often around. Oh, thank you very much. As if by magic, it suddenly appears on the bottom of the screen. Yeah. So we've got lots of people there to allow you to have your opinion, and we will listen to that.
And just another point there, Lizzie, sorry, if students do give us feedback, we do treat it confidentially. So, it's fed back to teams as a group of students. So individuals won't be picked out or anything like that in terms of giving information. So just wanted to make people feel a bit more comfortable about that, really.
Brilliant. That's great.
Can I just add a little bit to that, Lizzie?
Yeah.
In terms of just how else we kind of incorporate student kind of feedback and student presence really in external meetings. So university level study at the college is regulated by the Quality Assurance Agency. so QAA. So that's kind of like Ofsted, if you like, but for higher education. So we have reviews as part of that, and students do have to take part. We ask students to take part in those reviews, and we ask for student submissions and things like that so that they can help us and kind of make sure that we are, doing what we should be doing. We're following rules and regulations. So students not only take part in internal student voice activities, but also external student voice activities as well. And that's really important for us as a higher education provider, that we have students that are able to do that and to voice their opinions of the programmes and the kind of the offer that we have at Cambria.
That's brilliant, thank you. And Nick, if a student, if you're working with a student, helping them develop strategies to be able to support their additional learning needs, are you able to, how does that work with regards to sort of tutors and, getting that support back into the classroom?
So we work really closely with all the programme leaders and all the tutors that deliver on the courses. I mentioned before about disclosure, and that's really important for our team, but also it's important for the lecturers and teachers team and anybody working inside that classroom. So we work really closely to provide that support. We link up, like I mentioned before, with Emma, but we also talk to the teaching staff about what the requirements are of that course. So it might be that there's particular assignments that actually are causing a student a particular problem, in which case our one-to-one support would tailor it to meet those needs. For example, often a presentation is one of those things that people are really nervous about, and they perhaps don't have the skills and the strategies, or they don't feel confident enough to be able to do a presentation, but it's part of their assessment criteria for their main qualification. So I would make sure I linked in with Emma's team, if appropriate, and I'd make sure I spoke to the tutor, and then build that one-to-one session to make sure that we're meeting the needs of the course, as well as providing that extra support and putting perhaps some access arrangements in place so that the needs of the student are met.
Okay, so if I needed additional time, for example, or there may even be some exams on my course, is that something I can get help with?
It is. I mentioned DSA before. If you are entitled to DSA, so you have a full diagnosis of something, be it ADHD, ASD, dyslexia, then it's likely that you'd be entitled to extra time. Some of the universities say that that's only for exams, and we have to go by all of the individual universities' specific recommendations. However, some universities allow extra time for assignments. We wouldn't recommend that if one of our ALN specialists say that you're entitled to an extra week for all of your assignments, that you plan on taking it, because all that does is pushes all the assignments 1 week back. But what we do suggest is that they have that week for a buffer if they're entitled to it. If a student comes to us and they don't have that diagnosis, however, they've been feeling that they've been struggling, then our team are able to do a number of screening activities and screening assessments. And from those assessments, we can determine whether we feel that extra time would be an appropriate piece of support for that particular student. Again, the way that works, we have to work with the partner universities. However, what we do if they need extra time is we talk to the universities directly and see what support we can put in place from that perspective.
Thanks, Nick. So basically, whatever support you need, we've got the right approach there, haven't we? Fantastic. Yeah. Hiya, Kelsey. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, and thank you for your question, which is actually really relevant. And I think a lot of people will be wondering about this at this point. So, will we help with finding placements? Who'd like to answer that? Emma Hurst, are you able to?
Yeah, sure, Lizzie. Yeah, so absolutely we will, Kelsey. So depending upon the course that you're on, some courses have a placement element as a requirement of the course, kind of embedded within it, and others don't. But we would encourage everybody to take up work experience whilst they're studying, because that just kind of makes you graduate ready and kind of helps to build your CV. So absolutely, depending upon where it is that you want to kind of work within that work placement area, we can certainly help you. I think probably the best thing to do in the first instance would be to speak to your tutor and to kind of get advice from them. And they should have contacts and links who they'll be able to put you in touch with. Failing that, it would either be coming to myself or Donna using the HE support email. That would probably be the best one, wouldn't it, Donna, to kind of catch us on? Yeah.
Fantastic. Hopefully that's answered your question, Kelsey. If it hasn't, don't worry. Just leave us your link and we will contact you tomorrow, or you can contact us on HE. No, come on. Let me see if I can remember it. Who's gonna? Donna Pritchard.
HE@cambria.ac.uk.
I was close, but no cigar. Okay, so Kelsey, please do drop us a line if you're not seeing tutor for a while or something like that and you want to know more. Okay, so Donna, did you want to add anything around the support?
Yeah, I think it's important to note as well, where we do have a university partner, as Nick alluded to, we work in conjunction with their team. So where it's ALN, we work in conjunction with the ALN team at the university. They also have students of ours have access to fantastic library resources, etc., at the university partners, and all sorts of other things that we provide through student services. So there's two sets of people looking after you as a student, not just one. I think that's important to note. But some people may notice that I wear blue glasses. That is because I have additional learning needs. So I know exactly what it's like to study at HE level. And as Nick knows, being a previous programme leader of one of our HE programmes, I'm a great advocate for our HE learners disclosing their additional learning needs as soon as possible. It really helps us to help you. I'm dyslexic, have visual stress, and have ADHD. So, I take quite a few of those boxes, and the support that I know is available for our students is second to none. I've had one of the assessments our students and staff are offered, and I have to say it was on a par with an educational psychologist's assessment that I had done independently before I went through our system, and the support that I know our students have had in the past has really helped them to develop their academic writing, improve their grades, and also make the whole experience feel less stressful for them with that extra support. So I really would encourage people to take it up.
That's really reassuring. Thank you for that, Donna. Yeah. Much appreciated. Okay, so for our Welsh language students, for our first language Welsh language students, we just want to say croeso, welcome. We're so glad that you've joined us, and we absolutely relish the fact that you've chosen Cambria. So the question is, can I study through the medium of Welsh? Who'd like to take that one? Donna, would that be you again?
I can. Dwi'n dysgu Cymraeg. So I'm learning Welsh at the moment. So I can't answer fully in Welsh, but I can tell all the students about what experience. So we fully comply with the Welsh language standards, which does give students the option to receive their learning materials in Welsh, submit in Welsh, and also for them to get their feedback in Welsh. So as soon as we are notified of student language preferences, we can work with teams and our Welsh language department to put those things in place for you. And you can also work with our Welsh language team to make sure that the team are working on resources that are suitable for you along the length of your studies, really. So if anybody does want to study and submit through the medium of Welsh, that's no problem at all. And we do have a number of Welsh speaking staff across the team who then could be assigned, say, as a personal tutor to help those students feel more comfortable conversing in Welsh if that's their preference. Hopefully that makes people feel a bit more comfortable.
Diolch, thank you. Yes, that's really helpful.
No problem.
Okay. So if you've got any more questions, if you've joined us here this evening, or if you've only just joined us, if you've got any questions, please do pop them in your social media, and we will attempt to answer them. Do any of our panel have any additional things that they'd like to discuss? No. Okay, so I'll just give you another minute or so if you want to send us any questions. But if you're not keen on sending it through this medium, then as we said earlier, please do get in touch. You can speak to us if you've already started as a student at Cambria University Centre, then please do speak to your tutors, pop into student services, go and catch up with the additional learning needs team, contact Donna through Learner Voice, and pop in and see library and academic skills. So I think the message we've had here this evening has been very much about, you know, a few things that I've really picked up on is that actually, because we are associated with other universities, you get 2 for the price of 1. There's lots of benefits to being a student here at Cambria University Centre, including benefits such as the one I picked up at Bethan was Adidas, but obviously there's lots more important things, and also the new bursary, which sounds really exciting. We've also heard this evening about the fantastic and wraparound support that you can expect at Cambria, and this really is exceptional. So whatever you need support with, we're there for you, and we will make sure that you get everything you need so that you can have a really enjoyable and successful journey into higher education and beyond. We've also heard that, I think really nicely, what Emma said about, you know, the celebration. For those of you who have taken this step into HE, into higher education, it really is one of the most exciting, but one of the most scariest steps you ever take in life. And we're just absolutely delighted that you've either decided to do it with us or you are considering joining us. And my hat is off to you. I think it's a fantastic thing, and we know that you will enjoy your time studying with us. Okay, so anyone from the panel want to add anything?
I just had one thing to add, really, and it's sort of a question for Emma Steadman, really. When I was working on one of the higher education programs, one of the things that I felt, or one of the things that older students who've been out of education came in with a bit of a fear on, was the technology that we use. And I think people will be aware of how we use the technology now, having gone through the COVID pandemic. So I just thought it'd be good for Emma to sort of highlight how great the support is for people who aren't used to using computers.
Yes, yeah, it's definitely one of the areas that we cover as part of the academic study skills support. We are a Google college. We tend to use Google Suite for education, and we do tend to use Chromebooks as well in the classrooms. So quite often when you first start your course, one of the first sessions that you'll do with the library teams is around how to use Chromebooks. Even if you're an old hat at using a Chromebook, there's always a few hints and tips that we can teach you. We've got a great team who are all Google educators up to level 2, and they're able to support you, giving you the advice and guidance right from a beginner or hints and tips for the more experienced Google users. So there is that element of it, but then also just actually using the Google apps as well, you know, understanding how to use docs and create presentations, as well as what Nick and our team can do in terms of delivering presentations. But you've got to start by creating it. And it's just about how to access all of our online resources. We'll support you through all of that. We've got great journal databases that we can show you. And as I say, we do this either as group sessions or as one-to-ones. So if you are interested in booking a one-to-one with us, if you are a student at the moment, then you can email us at library@cambria.ac.uk.
That's brilliant. And yeah, thanks for that, Nick. I think it's really important that we do remember that actually tech changes, but once again, here we are. The support is there for you. Please don't be scared. If you've got any questions, if you've got any worries, just come and talk to us. Okay, well, I don't think we have any more questions. We've covered a huge amount tonight. We hope that we've answered some of your queries or helped you to get rid of any worries that you may have had. I'd like to say a massive thank you, Diolch, for joining us this evening. We've We wouldn't do these if you weren't with us. So thank you very much. And we hope that it's been helpful. On behalf of myself and the panel, we'd like to wish you a very, very happy studying. And if you are considering coming and joining us and you want to know about open evenings, you can find out more about that on our website. So, oh, here we go. As if by magic, once again, it's like I have magic fingers there. There's our open events. We have one on the 9th of November, the 16th of November at Yale and Bersham Road, and the 19th at our Northup site. So there you go. And am I right in saying that they're on the website as well?
Yes, yeah, they will be, yeah.
Fantastic.
They will be, yeah.
Okay, so we really look forward to seeing you at one of our open events. And if you have any further questions, please don't hesitate to contact us, he@cambria.ac.uk, or you can call us on 0300 30 30 007. That's 0300 30 30 007. We're always happy to take your calls. On behalf of myself and the panel, we'd like to wish you a very good night and look forward to seeing you very soon. Good night.